So I've been a licensed real estate agent for 16, almost 17 years now. Currently, I am a managing broker owner at Remax Future in Elmhurst. And, I've been doing this long enough to at least know or seen some trends and how things happen. I've seen a lot of mistakes and a lot of good things that have been done or happened to me or my clients. So like through this experience, and all these transactions that I have successfully done and also lost, homes I didn't sell or buyers I worked with and could not end up, finding a place for whatever reason they wouldn't buy, or the listings that wouldn't sell, or the listings I would have lost. Like after these 17 years and a lot of homes that I've sold, I recognize, for the most part, I guess, might be totally wrong, but I guess I'm not. For the most part, I have an idea of how things work, like one of the things, like I see a lot of people talking on YouTube and just in general, why is the house not selling, for example. I'll tell you one thing, if the house is not selling, and this is not going to be a very popular thing to say, I don't think that's going to get me more business, but it is truth. 99% of the time, if your house doesn't sell, it's overpriced. There's because people like to blame the agent, for example, and I know this because I'm an agent. I work with agents. I have agents working for me or with me, or I work for them, however you want to call this. Seller would think that maybe an agent should do a better job. Like maybe the photos could be better, maybe the description should be better, marketing, brochures, I don't know. Like there's all kinds of things that you could request and think like it's gonna help to sell the house. Honestly, 99% of time, if the house is not selling, it's just simply overpriced. You can have very bad photos, no description, virtually no marketing, because as soon as the house hits MLS, it's marketed anyway. And trust me, whoever needs to see it, they're gonna see it online, on Realtor.com, Redfin, Zillow, whatever website they're browsing on, and or through the feed that their agent is sending them. So it's not like your house is not gonna get noticed. It's gonna get noticed, but if it's too expensive, people are just not gonna buy it, or many times they just won't come look at it. Now there's this 1%, I don't want to call it 1%, there's an exception to it. There's properties that are very unique and there's just not so much interest in general public to buy a certain home in maybe a certain area. And it could be really anything, it could be the shape of the house, the way it's designed, maybe it's very rural, maybe there's no sidewalks in an area where typically you would have had sidewalks. But there's some situations where you actually need that right buyer. But even with that said, if you lower the price, you're gonna find that buyer, but you don't want to get desperate, many times it's worth the wait. But yeah, again, like I said, for the most part, if the house is not selling, it's just overpriced. The problem with this is, and there's nothing wrong with trying the market and trying to gauge it and maybe list the price a little higher to see if you get a bite. That's a good tactic. There's all kinds of tactics. You can price it super low to get all kinds of eyes on it. But let's just say you want to gauge the market and just overprice it a little bit, and that's fine, as long as you're not going like way over the price point. because that's where it starts hurting. The house is on the market for a little bit too long. Then even when you're lowering the price, I mean, that public that watches your price, it's not like it's changing every week, you know. Yes, there is new buyers coming to the market every week and every month, but for the most part, there's going to be a pool of people that are trying to buy a house, and they've been seeing your house on this market for such a long time, and like, even if they don't think about it too much, like subconsciously, I mean, I can say this, but you know what I mean, they'll be thinking something's wrong with the house. Or not that it's wrong, but like, it's been on the market that long, something's just not right, you know. So this is where like way overpricing the house actually hurts. Also, that's one thing. Another thing, trying to think what I should even talk about, is buyers not being realistic. And you know, it's nobody's fault. It's just the way it goes. Because when you start searching for a house, and let's say your budget is $400,000, you look at those homes, but somewhere in the middle, you're gonna take a peek at a $450,000 home. Now all of a sudden you like it so much better that you literally don't like those $400,000 homes, you know. And now it's really hard to find one that's perfect or right for you because you've seen something more expensive, and it just never ends. And same goes for $1 million house. You know, you'll see $1 million house, and then you take a peek at 1.2, and all of a sudden it kind of makes more sense to buy the 1.2 one, although the problem is you don't qualify for it. You know, and you get into that vicious circle of what should we buy, because what we can afford is not exactly meeting our expectations, but a little more would actually cut it. And then you go to $2 million, and then people have the same problem, you know. It's great, but maybe if we had $400,000, oh, this is something that we like, you know. So it just never ends, you know. Ultimately, if you want to have a perfect house, you need to build it yourself. And then even with that, you gotta find the perfect location. So say you have the money to build a $2-3 million super nice mansion, you still gotta find the land. And now with this budget, you wanna be really careful with the land you're buying. And now you have this problem again, the same problem. So it's just, no matter what the budget is, people fall into the same trap of wanting more, and they just can't make a decision. You know, it's kind of like with buying a car. You can buy a car for $20,000, and then if you spend $5,000 more, it's going to be a newer car or maybe a better model. And by the way of thinking like this, might as well look at $30,000, which is going to be even better, and $35,000 and $40,000. You know what I mean? So I guess my point is, reality check for everybody. Just, you know, make sure you're looking only for things or at things that you can actually afford. And I'm not blaming buyers here. This is also an agent's job to really explain how things work, the pre-approval process. If you're pre-approved for $500,000, that's what it is, okay? Now, you can maybe stretch yourself a little bit, but not too much. So just be reasonable. And agents should also, including myself, like really have that conversation with buyers, because otherwise everybody's just spinning wheels, and then everybody can potentially get angry at everybody else. And we don't need that. We just want to be happy as agents, you buyers and sellers, you know. Another thing, there's like this misconception that agents make too much money for doing nothing. I mean, I used to think that. as well before I was an agent. Trust me, this is not how it works. Yes, an agent can make a ton of money on a single sale, but the truth is, a single sale is not that easy to get. And it's not. And even if you get it, the thing is, you gotta have them consistently to be able to live, you know. So I guess I'm talking to agents now too. Real estate is not easy. It may seem easy because maybe you sold a house and your agent made $20,000, and that's great. It seems like a lot of money. But the question is, how many of those homes had that agent sold within a year, and next year, and the year before? You know, because trust me, it's not that easy. Maybe for some people it is, but for 90 or probably 95% of agents in America, it's not. You know, there is definitely some rock stars that are doing great, but generally speaking, you know, it's a very tough business, very unpredictable for the most part. I don't want to say unpredictable, you know, because at some point with enough experience and time in the game, you know, you do develop some systems, some referral networks, you know, some people know you're going to get some repeat business. But still, you know, the market shifts, the interest rates change, you know, there's slow seasons. So, not that easy, just saying. I'm not complaining. It's a fun job, I love it. And I've been doing this a long time. And, you know, it's in a way flexible, kind of a set your own schedule, or at least you for sure can, within limits and being reasonable, of course. But that's just what it is. So anyhow, you know, I'm gonna end this with this. It's a video about nothing. And I'll keep thinking on the content for the future. I'm gonna stick, I think, for now with doing videos about nearby towns. Maybe later on I'm gonna go into some more specific stuff for buyers, sellers, and other info, useful info. Maybe some interviews with like a real estate attorney, loan officer, title agent, because real estate is not just an agent. There's so many other things, and there's all kinds of different situations. You know, there's new construction. New construction being maybe simple. You might be thinking, we're gonna build a house, but then you need to buy a land. The land needs to be suitable. You may think it is suitable right away, and once you buy it, it turns out there's gonna be some hiccups, because maybe the land is partially in a flood zone that somehow nobody knew about. Maybe there's some setbacks. I'm talking, you know, where your house can sit from the property line, like from the neighbor's fence, from the front, which is called the front setback. You know, many times people don't know, when you build a house, there's something that's called a setback, front setback, where the city is gonna take an average of all the homes on the block, and your house, when you tear the old one down, is gonna have to sit so much far from the sidewalk, which is an average of all these homes on the block, or a certain number of homes, or sometimes certain blocks. Many things, you know. So you got attorneys, loan officers, inspectors, you know, homeowner inspector. It's not the only inspection you could be doing, you know. You should check the sewer, triple check attics for any kind of mold. Like, there's so many different situations. The reason I'm talking about this is I've just seen so many things throughout the years happen with my clients or my agents' clients, or I've heard from other agents. Trust me, there's stuff that you would never think of, and it just pops up out of nowhere, kind of, you know. But, you know, luckily there's something that's called a due diligence, you know, which you can many times for the most part, do before you purchase a property. And obviously you should, and your agent should, and maybe your attorney should, and maybe the civil engineer, surveyor, there's not, depending on the property you're buying. Condos, condo rules, bylaws, just so many things you got to be careful with. Buying a home in a subdivision, there's rules, sometimes you can or cannot put a fence. And some people want a fence, and it turns out you can't. That's a simple one, but catches some people off guard. Sometimes you cannot put a grill outside, especially in townhomes, where you would think you can. So just so many things. All right, I guess we'll see how it will go with this channel. I'm gonna continue recording myself and talking to you, whoever you are watching me or not watching me. Throw a comment. Maybe if somebody has any kind of a specific question, I can answer. No problema. For the most part, if I don't know how to answer, I'll quickly find out. If it's real estate related, I should know. If I won't, I can call one of my buddies, attorney, inspector, whoever it is, double check on things for you. And with that said, I would appreciate if you did make a comment on this video, liked it, and maybe even subscribe, if possible, of course. All right, I'm heading home. This has been a nice walk, and I'm gonna get to stick this few videos together because I have like 3 or 4 clips where I messed up. So I'll just glue them together quickly on the phone, upload this, and let's see how it does. Thanks so much. Today's Friday, July 31st, so last day of July, middle of the summer 2026. By the way, Chicago market's doing fine, keeps climbing year by year. I think it will do the same thing next year, and then who knows what will happen after 2 years or 3 years. Nobody knows. Ciao, ciao.